Well, still in the studio with me, journalist Neri Zilber, adjunct fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. And we also welcome Dr. Kobi Michael, senior research fellow at the Institute for National Security Studies at Tel Aviv University and former deputy director general at the Israeli Ministry of Strategic Affairs, joining us from the city of Nets Ziona. Thank you so much for your time. So, Dr. Michael, I'm going to turn to you for your assessment to start about the current situation on the ground. We're looking at these images on our screens of what has unfolded in recent days. Your assessment of how Israeli police and security forces are handling the current tensions.
Looks that the police and the security establishment are trying to do their best efforts in order to keep the situation calm as possible. But unfortunately, we are witnessing a series of incitement and escalation from the Palestinian side. And here I see that there is a very broad and solid coalition between Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Fatah, the Palestinian Authority, and even, unfortunately, some segments from the Arab citizens of Israel. And it looks that there is a limit to the containment that Israel can hold for a long period of time. And if the incitement and if the violence will continue in this scale, I will not be surprised if we will find ourselves with rockets that will be launched as retaliation by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad from the Gaza Strip. And from then, we might find ourselves in another military round.
That certainly is a major worry in this region. Neri, I want to bring you in on the fact that Naftali Bennett said in recent days Israeli forces have, quote, free rein to maintain security, given what Dr. Michael is just outlining right now. What exactly do you understand that to mean?
Well, the Prime Minister is saying that the Israeli police that are responsible for security on the Temple Mount, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, will have his full backing, despite the criticisms not only from the Palestinian side, but as your correspondent mentioned, from Jordan, from most of the Arab world, from Turkey. The Prime Minister, as well as the Foreign Minister, the two key leaders in this government, are standing fully behind the Israeli security forces and telling them, do what you have to do in order to maintain calm, as well as allow freedom of worship in Jerusalem, in the Old City, and on the Temple Mount.
Dr. Michael, we're talking about freedom of worship, and yet just in recent hours on this day, we saw several Jewish men dressed to go and pray at the Western Wall being assaulted. How does this inflame tensions right now, given what you have both been describing right now, concerns about a potential, and I say potential, escalation down the line?
It is more a sort of manipulation, which is held, by the way, by both sides, by some marginal and very extreme groups from the Israeli, the Jewish side, and by all the other Palestinian groups on the other hand. The security establishment, the police, and the general security services are looking from very close on these groups, and they will not allow them to reach the compound, and of course will not allow them to pray there or to participate in any sort of religious ceremonies. But on the other hand, I think that it is very ridiculous to understand what is the meaning of freedom of worship from the Palestinian point of view. It looks that the most sacred place, the holiest place for the Palestinians and for the Muslims here in Palestine, Haram al-Sharif, became to be a compound in order to escalate the situation, in order to throw stones, and in order to create clashes with the Israeli police. It is a very weird, I would say, way of worship.
It certainly is a very worrying situation we are seeing unfolding. Dr. Kobi Michael, Nets Ziona, and Neri Zilber here in Tel Aviv. Thank you both so